Hi, so today's topic for editorial discussion is an unacceptable verdict in the constitutional sense. So what this article deals with is that it talks about a recent Allahabad High Court verdict and how it is not right, how is it not placed right on various levels such as constitutional morality and other court precedents and all these things. The article basically criticizes that verdict on how it is infringing or how it is does not care about the concept called as constitutional morality and the Supreme Court proceedings or case laws in various other cases also. So, and this particular verdict, it also says that live-in relationship is a social problem. So, that is what we are going to deal with. What is the context is that recently a couple, an Uttar Pradesh based couple, they have gone to the Allahabad High Court seeking protection from the police, from harassment. That is, they are in a live-in relationship. This couple is in a live-in relationship. So, the police has been constantly harassing them on a complaint of a family member. So, this concept has not been acceptable and the couple has gone to the court seeking protection from police harassment. So, this is where the Allahabad High Court verdict comes in and the court has declared or termed live-in relationships as a social problem. So, what is live-in relationship? So, that is what we are going to see and what are the various points that those who support or those who do not support live-in relationship place forth. So, yes, and a little sociological concept relating to this live-in relationship. So, yes, live-in relationship is nothing but when two individuals get into a romantic relationship without the institution of marriage. We all know that marriage is a social institution and without this contract or without this sacrament, when people get into relationship without marriage, that is what we call as live-in relationship. Live-in relationship can be of various types and all. It does not into the types of live-in relationship. We are just telling that live-in relationship is when two couples get into a romantic relationship without the institution of marriage. So, yes, that is what live-in relationship. So, live-in relationship, there are a lot of supporters. The main point that these supporters place forth is that marriage or live-in relationship is a matter of personal choice. So, Indian constitution, it gives us a lot of fundamental rights. It gives right to equality, right against exploitation, religious freedom and all these freedoms, and among these freedoms it also gives us that it also gives its citizens the right to freedom, right to personal liberty and life, right to life and personal liberty under Article 21. So, yes, this is one of the articles or this is one of the rights that has a very wider scope. What is liberty or what is life? What is liberty? It has a very wider scope. It has around various concepts, 35 to 40 concepts that has been so far indulged or inculcated into this article. And the same concept, how those who support live-in relationships, what they tell is that this is a concept of personal liberty. It is a concept of personal choice and autonomy. The individual is the one who chooses. The individual is going to live in a relationship. The ultimate decider or the ultimate decision maker of this particular thing is that of the individuals. So, they are the decision maker and a lot of autonomy has been given to them. And yes, the Indian constitution also gives us this particular right of liberty and this cannot be accepted. This is a thing that has to be accepted as a matter of personal choice. So, that is one basic thing that supporters of live-in relationship place forth. And other things they also cite that this acts as a chance, like to check the compatibility of the couple, so later on they can move to other avenues or other streams and all. This can happen, and it also checks the bonding of the couple. So, that is what these supporters place forth. And one thing is that this also keeps the door open in the sense in the case of marriage as a social institution, people don't have much choices. One choice that can get people out of marriage is that of divorce, but it comes with a tag called as the divorcee. So, people not opting for this tag, for them to be tagged as a divorcee, they opt into live-in relationships because the door is open there. Unlike marriages, the door is closed there. In live-in relationships, the door is open so that people can, in case of incompatibility or in case of difference of opinion, they can easily come out of the relationship. So, this is what people suggest. It is a matter of personal choice. It can be, it is like a test of compatibility and bonding. It also leaves the door open in the future. So, this is what these people argue. And now those who oppose it, So those who call live-in relationship as an issue, what do they cite? What are the complications or what are the issues that they have with live-in relationship? The first thing is marriage is a sacrament. In the Indian society, yes, we cherish or we uphold, the Indian society upholds its traditions and customs, norms, all these things on a higher level. So yeah, and one similar institution is that of marriage. Marriage in India, it is treated as a sacrament. It is a holy communion of not just two individuals but two families getting together. So in Indian society, marriage is held at a higher level. So people cite that live-in relationships, they are not like marriages, they are just two individual decisions. This does not have a holy communion of families and all. This is just an unholy thing. This cannot be accepted in the Indian society. This has not been part of the Indian culture. So this is what people say to oppose live-in relationships. And the other thing is that of the issue of children. Issue of children in the sense, in case of marriage, if a child is born out of marriage, then both the parents, they have a responsibility towards the child. But in the case of live-in relationship also, various court verdicts have said that in case of live-in relationship also, if a child is born out of live-in relationship, then the parents have their responsibility toward the children. So this responsibility cannot be waived off. But in case, if there is in the worst case scenario, this couple opting to, if they opt to live out in the sense they are breaking up, all these things happen, right? They are trying to live apart. Oh, and no one comes forward to take the responsibility of the child. So what is the status of this child? Where does this child go? Like, what is the future of this child? So these are the various questions with regards to children born out of live-in relationship that are being placed. In case of marriage, everyone will take care. Like at least if the couple goes out, the parents at least the grandparents will take care of them. This can happen. But in the case of live-in relationship, there is no wider acceptance amongst Indian society, and this will be an issue in the future. Issue with children and social morality. Social morality in the sense, there are a lot of morals in the society, right? Like marriage is a sacrament, live-in relationships are wrong, like premarital relationships are wrong, premarital relationships cannot be accepted. These are all the social morals that are being thrown around in the Indian society. This concept of live-in relationship, it infringes such social morality. This infringes such social morality, and people, when such social morality are infringed, they get into this concept called as social stigma. Social stigma in the sense they are getting ostracized by people, they are being stigmatized by people. Stigmatized in the sense they are being discriminated, they are being harassed, and all these things happens. So social morality, when it infringes, it might lead to social stigma, and it might also affect the liberty and life of those live-in relationships. So this is what these people suggest also, the issue with live-in relations. And lack of responsibility. Lack of responsibility, yes, if marriage is there, there is some sort of responsibility and legality there. But in live-in relationships, yes, there are case studies like Kanya Lal and Kushbu and Lata Singh, all these case studies are there. In spite of those, there is this lack of responsibility with amongst the individuals. He is not responsible to her, or she is not responsible to him, or the other way around, and all these things can happen. Even in the case of same-sex couples also, this can happen. So there is a lack of responsibility. In marriage, there is at least some sort of responsibility towards one another, but in the case of live-in relationship, it is careless and there is no responsibility amongst the individuals. So that is one thing that has to be noted. And the last point as an issue in live-in relationship is violence. Yes, one recent time that cannot be forgotten, one of the major issues that can be linked with the live-in relationship is that of violence. We all know this recent case that shook the conscience of the Indian society, that shook the morality of the Indian society. The Shraddha Walker case, wherein the partner cut his partner into several pieces and buried. So this is one major thing that can happen. It has been linked to increased violence. Live-in relationships face a lot of domestic violence, and all these things happen. So yes, this is one indelible effect or issue with respect to live-in relationships. So violence can increase. And when talking about such live-in relationship and social institutions, there are two major sociologists who have given concepts like functional fit theory and cultural lag. Yes, the functional fit theory of Parsons. So what Parsons says is that every social institution evolves as the society evolves. As time progresses in the society, each and every social institution progresses. So this is what the functionally fit theory is. For example, there is this in the past there were a lot of joint families. Joint families, there will be a karta, and under the karta there will be a lot of co-parceners like first generation, second generation, and all will be there. This is what a joint family looks like, right? So over a period of time, the society progressed, the society evolved, and this demanded further changes in the social institution of family. In the social institution of family, that is a large scale industrialization and all were witnessed, and people, they wanted to be closer to their workplace, they wanted to be closer to their place of work. All these things were happened, and these joint families, which were once full of people, once full of communal heating, common kitchen, all these things were witnessed. This broke up into small isolated nuclear families that are being witnessed in today's industrialized and urbanized societies. So this is how social institutions change in society, and this can also be applied to live-in relationships. Earlier there were a social promiscuity was there, lot of things were there, social communism was there, lot of things were witnessed, and it further came into this concept called as marriage. And as society is evolving, this is a process, right? As society is evolving, a new form of relationship like live-in relationship is coming forth. So this can also be applied, functional fit theory, to live-in relationships. Another thing is that of Ogburn's cultural lag, theory of cultural lag by William Ogburn. The thing is, what he says is that concepts like material forces or material things, they move very fast, and non-material things, they take time. They will not catch up with the material things. So move fast in the sense, material things such as live-in relationships or these same-sex marriages and all, they progress faster. They progress faster, then they move fast. They evolve faster. These things happen. But the non-material things such as the perception of the society, perception of the individuals, and all these things, they take time. They take time. And once they catch up with this concept, the material forces have moved further. We'll take this live-in relationships and material factors and non-material factors. So cultural lag states that material factors move fast. So material factors move fast, but non-material factors, it will take time. So when non-material factors catch up to this material factor would have further enhanced or further progressed. So there is always a lag between material and non-material factors in the society. So this is what cultural lag is, and this can also be applied to concepts like live-in relationships and same-sex marriages. So moving to one way forward. So one possible or one very good way forward for such relationships will be bringing a legal framework for such relationships. Bringing a legal framework in the sense that caters to the needs of the couple, that imbibes the sense, that tries to change the sense of the society, and also handles such cases of violence and all. So this is one thing that can be a very good way forward when it comes to live-in relationships.